Hi there, I'm Dr. LaQuita J, and welcome to my YouTube channel where I talk about all things in between being and becoming a pharmacist. How you doing? You all right? We have entered this quarter, Q3, and of course, like you, well, I don't know, you probably not like me, but I like to do deep reflection and say, like, okay, not only the first half of this year, like, what have I done this first half of the year? What have I achieved? But also, I knew this would be the year I've been 5 years full time doing PharmD coaching. And I say PharmD coaching because I help pharmacists in careers in aspects of personal branding, career development, or I say career advancement, as well as NAPLEX prep. And I've been in reflection mode, of course, because it was one of those things of it's going on 5 years for PharmD To RPh. And it's like, okay, what I want to do for that. But also just in life in general, like, okay, hey, it's 2025. And I want to just be like a little chit chat, a little chit chat because it's been reflecting. Of course, like this year, I have done things, I have accomplished some things, got contributed author in a career book, big, um, been on many podcasts as well. But even so, I'll share that win later. I'll share that win later because I want to think like it's more than career, like just in life in general. Like I've been more kind to myself. I took listen last quarter. My clients and I we read one of the books that I read, so annual read for me, and we read it together as a group. And in that, in reading this book, it was the first time I ever read the book where I wasn't going through a crisis. I literally chose to leave comfort to go try something new, in which I switched industries, and that was something. And it's like, oh my goodness, that was really because everything was good in my other industry. It was good in my other sector of pharmacy. Everything was good, but I started reflecting. It's like, LaQuita, you're just like this bold person, and it's like I want to say I'm always curious and I'm willing to try. How do y'all feel about that? Are y'all like that? But I did want to I wanted this video to take out because I wanted to reflect on the 5 years of me being a business owner. But I also just don't want to be talking about career all the time. Because life is so much more than your career. And I have a holistic approach when I coach. Because you have to take care of the whole person, right? And just deciding to you have this nudging thing, right? And I didn't even know exactly. I know I want to be a pharmacist, but I always know I want to do something else too. And I didn't know what the term was until about 2015, where they hit the boom with the whole thing of business start popping entrepreneurs. And I was like, oh, because I always knew I wanted to be like my neighbor. Like I really admire that she always like it's like she put her mind to it and she did it. Like she's really good at hair. She does hair. She's a cosmetologist. She opened her own salon. She's really good at cooking. She opened her restaurant. She's a good seamstress. She was like sewing her own clothes. Great singer, like outstanding singer. Even like she like has songs written, especially good country songs like that. Poetry, published poetry, and everything like, and all while being a mother, a grandmother, and working full time in law enforcement. And I always admire that about her. Really admire that. And I didn't know that what it was. It's called entrepreneurship. I didn't know the term, but I knew it was that I didn't want to put myself in a box. I always knew that I didn't want to put myself in a box. So I realized, and this does you don't know me, because I want to also get to people, because the people come across me all the time. And I want to make sure that, like, it's just that's a relatable content, but also just, human, right? And for me, I had decided I wanted to go to pharmacy school. I come from a humble beginning, and I knew education was going to be my ticket, and it was going to be my ticket to retire my mom and all those things. And in pharmacy school, when I found out how much the salary for a retail district manager was, I was like, "Oh, babe, I'm going to get that." Since to make that, it was like $250,000. Oh, baby, sign me up. Here I go. But then around 2015, got that boom about people business. Like, oh, this is interesting. Then I just got that little nudge. Like life hits you with that nudge. Because I was on a trajectory to, again, I was for the climb corporate ladder. Graduate pharmacy school, take the exam, which is the pharmacy board exam. And I failed. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. And that what say when you think was for your bad was meant for your good. And in that, when I failed, I realized that it was something. I had to tap into myself and really, tap into that mindset. And I not failed. I failed twice. I took the exam 3 times, and I took the exam. I had to really develop that. And those who heard I failed was really shocked because, of course, like you didn't see that. Always had good grades. Always, just doing what I need to do, basically. Um, but yeah, I did, and it was actually that year was a nationwide type of fail. Like it was a nationwide thing. The scores was very low in 2016, like nationwide. But I didn't give up, and I passed. When I passed, other classmates was like, "How you pass up?" So like I helped a couple classmates and stuff like that. But I took a break because I wanted to get my master's in public health. And getting my master's in public health is still was the thing. And it was like, I'm still listening to I'm still watching these videos, attending these conferences with entrepreneurs. Every single project we have in my grad program, I see it as business. I see it as, okay, this is public health consulting I can do to help cardiovascular disease, cardiovascular disease progression. This is what I can use for HIV prevention in African American women ages 18 to 24. I know very specific because I realized I did the data and the research and realized that population has like increased risk for HIV risk, right? I looked at how the importance of a community garden, how you reduce comorbidities. I realized the importance of exercise and what it does to your body on a chemical level and how it really helps with insulin, helping with insulin resistance. I know, right? So I came to my research. It's like, oh, I just saw like different ways I can navigate and do things. And all while practicing, I had practice as a pharmacist. I was working in community pharmacy, retail, and I migrated to clinical prioritization pharmacy and working for PBM sector, like the ones who do the formulary prioritization. They say, hey, you need to call your doctor and do a prioritization. I was the one approving those things, okay? So my current job, we got prioritization to do. I'm like, make sure this, and that, because I know I was the one approving them. I know what you need, okay? But anywho, um, and then once I graduated, completed my master's, I went and started working, being contracted for the government. And I was doing that. Kind of did a little contract working for a lot, being public health consultant pharmacist for some years, And then I decided, I'm just going to just keep going, like constantly, like, still doing PharmD To RPh as well. And it was a nudge, and it was the nudge of 2020. And it was like, I knew I had it planned out. I was like, I'm going to go full time this. I'm ready. And it's so crazy because this is where God tells you something. When God tells you to move something, I was when I was on clinical prioritization, my contract was practically ready to end, and I knew what I had wanted to do. But my other ladies, pharmacists that were hired with me, they were looking for the jobs. Like, oh, let me look for other jobs too. So one weekend, I was looking for a job, and I landed a government contract at the CDC. And I like shift everything. I even at that time I knew I wanted to do this thing, and I knew I had to do something different. I seen it, and the whole thing about this business thing, I was watching this girl I had met. She was actually a sorority sister of mine. She was one of the first women that I had met moving to Hampton. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna hire her as a coach. And it's so fun. Like I knew I needed a coach because I'm about to go into unknown territory. I knew I had to do something different. I knew because prior to, which I need to back up just a little bit, because prior to in 2014, I had started I started my first business. Then it was like career. It was like more tailored towards the youth, because I realized for me, I realized by the time I had got the ACT score I needed for scholarships, it was too late. And I didn't want people to be like me, like taking these ACT too late and you missing out on scholarships. So I started like a youth career track for youth. And I started that, and I knew like that wasn't as successful as I would hope it to be, because I was doing other tactics I've done before, because I'm known to put on events and playing weeks and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, like for my sorority, I was just putting all this together, but that didn't work out. So I knew when I wanted to be full time as a PharmD success coach, I wanted to make sure that I had it right. So I know I had to invest in me a coach. So 2020 came, I invested in a coach. I had joined her program. It was a good penny, but worth it. Um, and I was practicing as a prioritization pharmacist. And the contract I said was about to be the end. And I left that contract. I applied that weekend. I was like, let me just apply, because everybody apply. And I only applied for that one contract and literally landed, right? But I'm saying to say, like, sometimes God, because I knew that I wanted to do full time, and being truly full transparent, like I knew that. I said to myself, once this contract ends, I'm going to practice as a pharmacist. I'm only going to work for myself. I'm not going to renew my contract. I'm only going to work for myself. Um, that's what's going to happen. I'm not. And the position came. It was like, oh my God, it's my dream, my lifetime. I got this good government job. You know, everybody the life thing, right? Excited, get the job. COVID hits, move. I move. Spent a pretty penny moving. Ash was paying rent in two different states until, like paying bills in two different states. So, um, yeah. And COVID hits and all the things happen, and I lose that contract. And I was so upset. I was so upset. But the irony of that, I'm gonna speak this story up, because the irony of that was, if I never took that job, um, move, because I was in Wisconsin at the time, I moved to Atlanta. If I never moved from Wisconsin, Green Bay, Wisconsin to Atlanta, um, I wouldn't have been close to home. Because when that job ended, I moved back to Mississippi. I was like, look, I got enough of my savings account to hold me, but I know it could stretch even further. It can double the time if I move back to Mississippi. So I moved back to Mississippi. And little did I know, it's like the blessing of it all, because one, I was saying that, one, if you got that unction, that thing that's urged you saying, get it done, go get it done. Because life, or God, has a way of making sure you do that path. Because I was, in my mind, I was headed towards corporate. I would never be a pharmacy success coach if I didn't fail the exam. Not once, but twice. And that's why I was needed there. Then I also saw how once you pass the exam, it's so hard to find a job. And that's why I said it comes in, because I said in the NAPLEX portion of it, but it's how you find a job once you pass the NAPLEX. And then you've been in the field and you're tired of the sector you're in, you want to do something different. So I noticed that as well. And those things, like the life experiences, I did not know it was shaping me and pushed me to the direction I should be in. And doing that, I by doing that, I literally moved to Atlanta, of course, moved back to Mississippi. And it was another blessing because a tragedy happened where my mom passed away 6 months later. But it was a blessing. I say less than 6 months later, but it was a blessing because I got to spend the last 6 months of her life with her. And I'm grateful for that. And it's like, again, tragedy. You think it's tragedy, but it's for your good. And I'm saying that because challenges, it's been some trying times. And even just starting to practice, some things I have learned where I never forgot I had a client. He was getting ready to he entered the program on his last attempt, and he was going to take the exam. And I just knew he wasn't ready because I always do some questions. I always give my clients questions. Like I will call them. We have some contact. I always like challenge them for questions and things. And I knew he wasn't ready for the exam. But I said, oh, we'll just see. He failed on his last attempt. And I said, never again that I will ever stay quiet. That was like a thing I learned. What that moment really taught me. And there were moments where people were people were coming in, but they'll get in the program and they wouldn't take the exam because they still so afraid. And I realized it's a mindset. And every single time, this is why throughout the program, I'm always challenging your mind because no matter how good of a coach I am, if you don't think you're going to succeed, I can't do anything. If your mind is, as who said, George might say, if you constantly have stinking thinking, I can't give you a fragrance, a smell good and make you and expect you to smell this patchouli, vanilla, musk smell, and you only got or I'm gonna say Dolce and Gabbana with Tom Ford, all the perfumes, right? And since the perfumes and our fragrances, and you still got this stinking thinking over here, right? So I realized that, but also I had good success because at one point, because I was kept getting like people who just basically who are in desperate need and wanted something quick. They didn't want to put the work in. They didn't want to think for themselves. They didn't want to feel like, oh, I feel like a dumb if I say the wrong answer. Like if y'all don't talk so I can understand, or they just basically want me to give them all the stuff and they not doing it work. Like I can go take the exam for them, right? And in those moments, I had those clients and I have got very frustrated, very, very frustrated with that. And there were doubts. So I was like, I need to stop. And even some of my mentors said, stop getting these people who fail the exam. Like, don't even recommend people who fail the exam. Like, stop. Because they are you get in the bottom of the barrel. And that was a sting. But I understood what they were coming from because it's like the work ethic that you need. And it's always making excuses of time after time after time, making excuses. Like, yeah, making excuses. And one thing I had to say, like, was I going to, it was a hard decision for me to say, am I going to keep taking people who constantly fail the exam because their work ethic and that they're so down? But I had to think back to who I am at my core. Where my core is, I don't got to be with the 100. I lead a 99. Well, I don't got to be with 99. I lead a 99, get that one. Because that one that you go get can do great things. Great, great things. And I was like, yeah, I could do. I could do what especially I started out doing NAPLEX prep. I can do what every company does. Provide you a book. That's one of my books right there, the NAPLEX playbook. I can provide you with a book and say, there you go. I can provide you with videos and say, hey, go watch the videos, and it'll teach you everything to do. I can provide you with the book with all the organized information and all the great charts and visuals. I can create to give you test bank after test bank, time quizzes, the time your study sessions. I can give you all that stuff. But what was missing and what I saw is that you can present all the stuff, but at the end of the day, to know how to remember information, to be the pharmacist that you are, to really truly think like a pharmacist and not like a student. Because in the day, we're going through pharmacy school and we're changing our different study methods for each teacher. And you're going through and you look up, you know this teacher like to quiz on this information or test on this information, this teacher like to test on this information, and you got bits and pieces, but you never got the full story of any disease state. And that's what I realized. And also too, I realized that none of these people who offer NAPLEX prep, they are accessible. They're just not accessible. They don't talk to you. A couple of them, they'll do a review, a week review or a weekend review, and that's it. You don't hear from them ever again. And they don't have the touch points. They didn't see the progress I had from when I couldn't even afraid to talk about ID and how I can master ID. And I was like, yeah, this is this and this and that. Because hey, breaking it down, like they didn't see their progress. And I wanted that. And I said, that's what's needed. And the accountability to know that this is my to-do list. And saying that for my clients, this is your to-do list and hold you accountable to get it done. Where we're not studying to review again or constant review and like, oh, okay, I'm in my this session. No, you studying to master, not to review. I said to say, oh, I kind of know something. No, we studying for mastery. That's a big difference. And I wanted that. And I saw that it was needed. And people kept saying, like, don't get the people, like who fail. I'm like, but at the end of the day, truth of the matter is it's hard. Someone who's freshly graduated from pharmacy school think they don't need you because their school has provided this and this and that and then they think they don't need you. The truth of the matter is they don't know what they know until they take the exam, because in their mind, the exam is just like a pharmacy school exam that you took before. And not so much, because even the ones who pass will come to tell you like, "Oh, it's by the grace of God, I thought I failed too." It's not. It's very few people who walk away saying, "I knew I passed that exam." Right. So I'm sad to say that people were telling me not to do, and I was like, okay, and I almost gave up. And I had got into a period where again I just kept getting these people who just wanted the cheat code. They don't put in the work. They just want me to hold their hand. It's like it was even to a point where I'm doing coaching calls. Every single coaching call for almost like 2 months was constant like infectious disease. I'm like, look. And at that point, I got kind of feel like, look, we keep studying infectious disease like it's the only damn subject on the test. You either gonna learn it or you gonna learn it. I mean, hey, I can't do it no more, right? Like, hey, let you know, okay? Um, but of course, I ain't say all that. I try to be professional. Well, I am professional. But in my mind, that's what I want to say. But anywho, I think I'm rambling. So let me get back, stay focused, okay? Um, but I had the privilege to meeting this wonderful soul, and she had restored so much faith in me. She came to me on her fourth attempt. She already had 3 attempts on NAPLEX exam. It was her fourth attempt. We got to work and got busy. She came in July, around July. You know, around July last year. She came in around July. Last December, she passed. But most recently, and if you haven't watched, go back and make sure I put this in the thing. I know where I'm at. The video I posted a couple weeks ago, I had my classmate. We went to pharmacy school together. We went to pharmacy school together. I graduated pharmacy school in 2016, y'all. She came into the program. She said she came to me. She found me on Instagram. She was like, she missed me on Instagram. She's like, look, I didn't binge watch all your content on YouTube. I'm ready to buy. How do I sign up? She joined the NAPLEX Restore Challenge in October. She joined in. She booked a strategy call. And I did a special. I did a Black Friday special. And she bought the program for this year, 2025. We started in January, but she bought it on Black Friday. And during that time, she was like, okay, I'm going to start studying. And so I'll be ready in January. She wasn't ready in January. She wasn't. She wasn't ready. But because I even remember like the doubt, like I heard when we did our mindset training, she was just so unsure of so many different things. But she wasn't ready. But she got there. So she started in January. Now, mind you, I said this is someone I graduated from. She was in my pharmacy school class. We graduated in 2016. It is 2025. Almost 10 years. She hadn't taken the exam. I studied the exam in 9 years. And mind you, in 2016, the exam changed in 2017. And I think it changed in 2021, I believe. Yeah, it changed 2021, it changed 2017, it changed 2021, and it just changed again in 2025. So this exam has changed 3 times. She's been out of school 9 years, hadn't picked up not one book. Into the program in January. She entered the program in January. I'm going to see if I can put the image here. I showed her the video of that, like she sent. I'm going to link that up again. But last week, we got the notification. She passed. In 6 months, less than 6 months, she passed. 9 years? 9 years out of school? And I kept saying over and over. I kept telling you, lock in when you lock in. People say lock in. Because that NAPLEX playbook there, it's designed for 40 days. I have always had this program. 40 days to pass the NAPLEX. 40 days, 40 days. He was like, it's so much 40 days. It's not enough time. It is. Because when I truly locked in, I really started studying. When I stopped playing and I really got serious and I treated passing NAPLEX as my full-time job because I didn't have no other job, I locked in. And it only took me 36 days to pass the exam. But some of you may be like her, where she started out like, I feel so defeated. I don't know if I can really do this. I get it. Because if I'm honest, these past 5 years with PharmD To RPh, I thought that a lot of times. Especially grieving. Grieving my mother. Navigating life without her. Then deciding to choose life and start living. And you live a while, you live for a moment, and you still feel like something's still missing. Yeah. I get it. And that's why I always say this. And I definitely say for someone, me taking the leap of faith to go full time with PharmD To RPh was a pivotal moment for me that sparked so much passion. Um, it really took away where those setbacks, those setbacks that you have, they ain't just setbacks. They're really they're set up for you to come back, and they're like just redirection where you should go. They're redirection where you should go because I believe with the right mindset, the right support, because you get to choose the level of support that you need. You get, you know, things can change. I knew I wanted to start PharmD To RPh. I knew it was a nudging in my heart. It says time is ready. And I knew I had to do something different because my first company and my first things was not successful. And I knew I had to do something different. I had to invest in myself and try something else. And I did. I I hired me a coach to help me with the unknowns I didn't know I needed. Well, the things was I thought I was going for this one thing. She's helping me figure out like the what I thought I was just being helped with the tools I needed to start this coaching practice and end up understanding how to run a business. So I'll say how to start a business and how to market a business. And I learned something very important with that. And I think I know that's what would when clients enter my coaching what they need. They come in thinking that I'm coming for NAPLEX Prep. It's so much more than that. I'm coming for career. So much more than that. Especially with the hybrid of phase one and phase two. Because the framework we have is literally forming the RPH framework and where we do mindset. We do if you are studying prep for the exam, we do phase two, which is the exam prep, the foundational prep, and the third one is the clinical prep. And we go into career. We have a whole system framework for it. Because, like I said, everything I learned, I wanted to share. Like to not only help pass the exam, but once I passed, I couldn't find a job. I didn't know where to start. I felt like I wasn't smart enough or good enough because I had failed the exam so many times. And how do you market somebody who failed the exam that many times? I did. And not only that, I started practicing in 2018, officially started practicing in 2018. By 2019, 2020, I had already worked in three sectors of pharmacy. Community, PBM, government. Now I'm in my fourth sector of clinic. And this is somebody who failed the exam three times. This is somebody who got fired because she couldn't pass the exam in the time frame they want me to pass the exam. And that was a blessing within itself too. Because just being honest, when I graduated, she lowballed me, that district manager. She did. Got a license, went back to the same state a year later. Let me a year later, year and a half later, and got more money. And with my state hours that I wanted to work. Okay. I'm saying all to say, because I kind of feel like I've been all the place. And if you feel like I've been all the place, let me know. Because I felt like my shit chat was long. And I was still looking at the time. I was like, it's in 34 minutes. Y'all like these long videos. If you didn't mind a long talk, just put I enjoyed it. So, like, let me know something in the comments, okay? Thumb it up. Let me know. Because sometimes I be wondering, do y'all, because it's one of those things, a celebration. It's a celebration of, I'm proud of where I have come. I'm looking forward to the next 5 years ahead. And I'm really ready to become the best version of me. I'm gonna read you one of the mantras we in our programs. We do mindset. I need to change. I need to change like our group chat name because it's NAPLEX Ready is so much more than that. But I wanted to share with you our mantra for July, and it says, "I'm no longer available for the version of me that plays small. I'm no longer available for the version of me that plays small." And I really think I've been playing small a whole lot. One, because I'm an introvert. I'm like, show. I'm like, I'll store and I'll share. And I'm like, okay, no, that's enough. It's too much. I'm overstimulated. I can't do this. I'm a private person. I can't do all this. But because I mean that is really me. Um, I'm just like, oh, at one point I was juggling a lot, but I said to say, even so, I feel like we only 6 days into this quarter, this second half of the year. And I am choosing that I am no longer available for the version of me that plays small. So Dr. LaQuita is about to stop playing small. And I think that's a service announcement. We not playing small no more, okay? Y'all done waited 36 minutes to hear this. We finna stop playing small. We finna go out here and do what we need to do. We need to release these pounds like we said we about to do. You need to pass this now. Let's stop playing. Stop playing. I almost cussed you. Let me stop because I don't know you like that. But we finna stop playing. We are. We finna do what we need to do. No longer available to the version of me that plays small. The same way I got uncomfortable, left my comfortable job to go work a place that is further, longer hours, but the work not hard though. I made myself uncomfortable. And guess what? We better make ourselves uncomfortable. We're gonna make a report. I don't know. I don't know if we need to create some type of something to say, hey, we're gonna check in and see where we at. If there's something you want, something. Look at me. I need to put my little something, like put something in the church. I mean, put something to come. I be watching the guy said, if it say what he say, if I came, I don't know. He says that put church in the comment. I'm like, I need to come up with my little something. I don't know, but it's just time to stop playing small. I'm just going after every damn thing that's meant for me, and I ain't playing no more games. I ain't playing no more games. I didn't played enough. I didn't. I wasn't moving like I should have this first half. But we finna move because you know what? I got these goals and I listen to my letter to myself and I say these things. But I want to not only play it for you at the end of this year, but show you what I did. Okay? So that's enough. That was my PSA and my announcement. Y'all came just to hear that we're no longer available for the version that plays small. It's time to stop. And it's time to stop, okay? It's really time to stop. So that's all I got for you guys. Until next time, remember that pharmacy is, please like, comment, subscribe to our video, like the channel. I love the feedback. I want to know what's working, what's not. I want to hear all the things, okay? But until next time, remember that pharmacy is only if you are. Now go be great. All right. Talk to you guys later.